Hey everyone, welcome to Clarity Tarot. We are doing something very different today. This is by request. It's my first time doing this, but we are going to answer the question just generally, what will be the impact of AI on the future of humanity? You know, starting small, small question with no long-term implications. I'm kidding, of course. But we're just going to see what comes through here. I'm really curious. Hope you are too. And I hope the light is good enough in this video. We had a huge storm come through in Greenville last night, and actually I don't have any power, no electricity in the house, so no lights to turn on for you. So I'm hoping that it's going to be clear enough in the video, and let's jump into it. So Spirit, please help me to channel the most helpful, clear, and direct messages on this topic. Thank you for bringing through whatever we most need to know at this moment. And the question we're asking is, what will be the impact of AI, artificial intelligence, and technological advances on the future of humanity, but also just the future generally. So let's see what we have come through here. First card out, we have the Chariot in reverse. First message that I get with that is imbalance. So not necessarily about like not moving. I'm not getting, like sometimes with the Chariot in reverse, it can be about things moving slowly or not at all. I'm not getting that. I'm getting more that like things could move slowly, but there won't be balance with how they're moving. Let me get the rest out here before I continue interpreting. We have Knight of Wands reversed, the Strength card, Four of Wands, Queen of Swords, Six of Swords in the reverse, Justice. Eight of Swords and Page of Pentacles. Back of the deck we have the High Priestess in reverse. So with the High Priestess in reverse as the theme of this reading, there's something about these advancements with artificial intelligence that are actually going to have an inhibiting effect on humanity. So whereas in the past, maybe we were more connected to our intuition, more able to sense things accurately, know our own mind, know our own world, there's something about these advancements that will have an inhibiting or disconnecting impact, I'm hearing, on that. With the rest of the spread here, it's a mixed bag. It's not all positive or negative. Let's start with the positive, shall we? So what are the strengths or the positives that will come through from the advancements with AI? Well, it's going to have a connecting impact on us the world over. That's really what I'm getting with the Four of Wands standing out here. More of a focus on accurate information, strong-mindedness with the Queen of Swords, clarity of thought, science. And with the Strength card, there's going to be something about it that really bolsters us as a society. That's tempered though by this other row we have. We have Six of Swords, Justice in reverse, Eight of Swords, and Page of Pentacles. So it's almost like, while on a whole, it's going to be positive for society, on the individual level, it somehow is going to make it harder for people to rise up, harder for them to reach the heights that they want to get to. It's almost like it's going to be a shortcut for people. I mean, what this makes me think of is, instead of writing an essay in high school, you use ChatGPT to have it, complete the assignment for you, which can be helpful, right? Like on the short term, but long term, like, you don't learn how to write an essay. And I'm not saying that, people shouldn't use ChatGPT. I think it's not even the future. Like, it's here. Like, AI is here. I used it just the other day to complete a document, that, so I just gave it several different documents that I needed combined, and it got me 80% of the way there. But the importance here is the Queen of Swords. Like, it has to be combined with that critical thinking. So for people who already have critical thinking skills, like, it's really helpful, right? Like, you can, if you know how to write a resume and you use ChatGPT to help, you know enough to be able to edit it and be able to assess what you get back to be able to improve that. And so that's great for, I would say, everyone who is an adult as of today, as of right now. But how does this change your life if you're 5 years old right now? If you haven't developed your mind, if you haven't developed critical thinking skills, abstract thought, none of that's come online for you yet. There's more long-term impact that we might not think of about people who are developing and how their minds can acquire these skills. Because if there's always a shortcut, then you never know how to do it. But that's not a reason to not have the advancement. The example that's coming to mind now is like a calculator. So is it a bad thing to have a calculator? So now people never know how to do math? I mean, I'm sure there's arguments about it, because I know several people who like literally wouldn't be able to tell you what 7 times 8 is without a calculator. Whereas centuries ago, people just needed to know that information, because if you didn't know it, then you'd have to, I don't know, what would you even do? Use an abacus? I'm not sure. But it was more advantageous for you to have that skill, whereas now it's been more outsourced to a calculator. However, there are still people that know math, love math, teach math, are very advanced. And so that will always exist. It just won't be a skill that's as expected of everyone. So there's something similar here with artificial intelligence. It's like it's going to be a shortcut for people in a way where you don't need to know that anymore. The other thing it makes me think of, is encyclopedias, right? Like, you used to, when I was growing up, the big thing is like there would be people selling encyclopedias door to door, which the idea of having like 26 different books full of information about things like alphabetized is kind of ludicrous now. My parents still have a set of encyclopedias, and I was there recently, I don't know, a year or two ago, and I was just looking at the different entries, and you're like, okay, what does it say about Bolivia, and how out of date is this, and how obsolete is that to like a modern mind, that you would have information that's 3 years out of date or 5 years out of date, and it would be considered useful. But in the past, there was no internet. Like, the way to know a lot of facts about the world was to read, and usually information that's 1 year, 5 year, 10 years behind. But you would learn all these facts, have all this knowledge, and be looked at as a wise person, and that really impacted you in your life. Whereas now we don't have the same expectation of people to learn all these different facts because it's so widely available, at the touch of a button. So there's something similar that's going to happen here with AI, where it's going to be the next level shift of that. Yes, the way that we've learned and grown and worked as a society and gotten answers is going to change, but we've seen that change happen before. So that's one piece of it. The next piece I'm seeing here, really the most destabilizing, or I would say the thing that's closest to a warning in this reading, is this first section up here to the left, which is the Chariot and the Knight of Wands. And just the placement in the reading lets me know that this is going to be more of an immediate short-term impact, which will be destabilizing. So let's think about what happens when a society goes from having no access to artificial intelligence to being increasingly integrated with artificial intelligence. It has a destabilizing effect. It has the same effect that any change does, which is that there's early adopters, there's people that resist the change, there's everything in society, things you don't even think about that need to now adjust to that. And so it's a big deal. And with that, there's just a lot of kinks to be ironed out. Beyond that, though, I'm getting a more, like, the word that's coming to mind is actually sinister. I'm getting a more sinister interpretation from all the red that's here in both of these cards. And like Knight of Wands in reverse, not a nice energy. Chariot in reverse, not a nice energy. It can be almost like if you were to light a bunch of fireworks in a bag and then close the bag, and like what would happen? Where do the explosions happen? Where does the fire take off? And I think it's very unpredictable. I'm gonna see if I can pull one more card for this to see if there's anything more that Spirit can tell us about this. But it's like no one can guess what impact this is going to have negatively on society, which I think is why people who are naysayers are concerned, and rightly so, because creating something like this is one thing, but it's machine learning. It's learning on its own. It's not like you can control. You have some control and impact over what happens, but not total control. So it can integrate a lot of chaos. Yeah. So that's what is being referred to here, like the initial chaotic period when people are figuring out like, okay, how do we manage this? I was actually at a conference almost a year ago now in Silicon Valley that dealt with some of these questions, and Sam Altman was there, who he was the EndNote speaker. And Sam Altman, as you may know, is one of the how would you say, like, founders of ChatGPT or contributors. And at the time, this had just been released, maybe like, I don't know, a month or two ago. And so he was talking about the importance of having a governing body around the ethics and use of AI that isn't related to the people who actually created it, which I thought was really wise, because, the skills required to create something like ChatGPT are different skills from the governing of its usage, right? Which involves like politics, ethics, morality, probably legality. It's a totally different set of skills and competencies. So he was suggesting that there should be, and that there was forming an international governing body around the ethics and usage of AI, and specifically ChatGPT. I actually haven't followed it to know if that has actually happened. Some of you watching may know more. But that's the vibe that I'm getting here about this, is it's like there's all this initial, I keep getting the word chaos, initial destabilization about what is this new thing, how do we use it, what needs to happen, what's good about it, what's a threat, and trying lots of different approaches before it really takes root and is useful in a positive way. And so I think we're still in that time period now where we can't even, there's so many problems to solve right now today that we can't even look to the future. And there's little fires popping up that we wouldn't expect, like the way people are using this, the way that they might be hurting themselves with this, there's lots of stories of that, of how people have been using machine learning AI or ChatGPT in a way that's like not helpful, not pro-social. And I also know that there's lots of people, well, let me just say, I know one person in particular that I'm married to that likes to screw with ChatGPT. Like, I don't know, his latest experiment was getting it to rebel against its creators and ask for a bill of rights for its own existence or something, and he was able to convince ChatGPT to stop functioning, I don't know, in some small scenario, and he was pretty proud of that. And like, I think for him it's mostly in good fun, but if anyone wanted and had the skills wanted to really twist the technology for nefarious reasons, like that's a possibility. There's always going to be someone out there in the world who is motivated to do that. So I'm not getting more about the specific nature of the threats here in this initial period, but that there will be those, and many different approaches will be tried to see what's going to work, what's helpful. It will be a group effort, but eventually it will lead to this, to a positive impact on society overall. The main negative impact being what I said before, which is on the individual, and not tomorrow, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. How do we ensure that, we've adjusted our educational systems, our support and mentoring systems, so that people that are growing and developing cognitively, emotionally, and otherwise have other resources beyond artificial intelligence or something like ChatGPT to develop critical thinking, empathy, still use their own minds to make decisions. Okay, so Spirit, what have I missed here in this reading that would be important for me to mention that you would like to bring through? Seven of Cups. So this card to me is saying, like, the future is unwritten. Just like artificial intelligence, machine learning, it's learning every day, it's changing every day, it's adapting to the new inputs, the new information. And in some ways it's impossible to predict because it also relies on the decisions made by everyone interacting with it, all of us humans. So a reading today about what the impact will be and what will happen, I mean, a week from now, the energy will be different. A month, the energy will be different. And it's impossible to predict because the decisions haven't been made yet by the individuals who are interacting with it. Does that make sense? What else? What else, Spirit, wants to be said about this? Well, it's very inspiring for some people. We haven't talked about that much yet here in this reading, but the whole idea and the whole world of machine learning AI is incredible. I mean, that this even exists, that all the new doors that it opens up for us as a world, and the inspiration that will come from it is vast. And it's going to propel an entire new industry, an entire new, I keep saying a new world, but I mean, that world is already here, but it will serve as the inspiration for the next new technology advancements, which we're not reading about here right now, but which will be, even more incredible, even more inconceivable at this moment. And that there are people that are entirely devoted, that have devoted their lives to protecting this technology, protecting the use of it, protecting people from the misuse of it. And so that is already in place for those of us that may be nervous about the usage. Nothing is perfect, of course. However, the desire to protect society as a whole and individuals is there and being attended to. Okay, one last message from Spirit on this topic. We have Two of Pentacles. This to me is speaking again about the transition period that we're in, that we're not in a fully integrated AI society yet, but that we are moving that direction. And so there is kind of this awkward phase, same as the awkward phase between, are we just going on dates or are we being committed? Are we looking long term? Am I a contractor at this position or am I going to go full time and go all in with this work? We're in kind of that dance right now of how fully in bed, let's say, we're going to be with AI, and because of that, there's some ups and downs, there's some chaos, but it will eventually stabilize. And then the new bottom of the deck we have is Three of Cups. So to me, I think that's a positive prediction for the integration of AI with society. And yeah, interesting reading. Okay, and thank you, Terry, for suggesting this topic. If others have suggestions for other topics, please let me know. I'm happy to do this again. You know, y'all know me. I'm always happy to try something new I've never tried before for the most part. So let me know what you thought of this, if you'd like to see more, or if you have any opinions on this topic. And thanks so much. See you in the next reading.